Those being my prompts.
Those being my
Can't
progs.
talk.
Oh, you're good. Hey guys, it's Amanda here, your cutie of Carnage.
And I'm JESS KORESH, aka Ralph.
Here on another episode on ChannelSundown. Today we're going to do a special Memorial Day episode because this weekend we
Brightburn.
We went to the IMAX theater to see much hyped Brightburn. Horror film with a twist. A slasher film with heroes. Or anti-heroes. However you want to put it. An evil Superman.
That's what I was going to say. It's kind of billed as an evil Superman movie.
Exactly. This review will have no spoilers. We will do our film review spoiler free. So, if you have not seen this film yet, it'll be okay. We won't ruin it for you.
And by spoiler free, she means all the spoilers will be free. No charge. JK.
No, we will not be ruining any part of the film. So if you guys have not seen it, it's going to be okay. We are here. We will not ruin it for you. So it will be alright.
We're going to ruin if it's good or not.
Well, there's that. But I will not mention any plot points that will ruin your experience of this film. I will just tell you what I thought of the film.
And I will also tell you what I thought of the film. As Amanda mentioned, Brightburn is a very hyped 2019 film that the Gunn family had a very heavy hand in. James Gunn produced the movie. Brian Gunn wrote it along with cousin Gunn. A lot of guns. But the movie was actually directed by a friend of theirs named David Yervosky.
Director of the Hype.
Which I've never seen.
I have not either.
Heard of it, never seen it. I might check it out now.
Yes, maybe.
Be a good time.
Maybe. And I love James Gunn, and he didn't direct it, but I was really looking forward to it because I am a fan. I've loved him since Romeo and Juliet, which his brother was in and he had a heavy hand on, and I'm a huge James Gunn fan, so I was looking real forward to this film.
As was I. I was hoping that James Gunn would direct the movie because I had seen what he had done with superhero movies before. Super, directed by James Gunn, is probably one of my favorite superhero movies. Probably top 3.
The film stars, of course, Elizabeth Banks, who I love, and you guys might remember her from Slither. Elizabeth Banks plays the mother, and the father is played by David Denman. You guys might remember David Denman from The Office.
You get extra points if you actually knew that guy's name, by the way.
Right?
Pam's old boyfriend from The Office. You know the guy.
Yeah, right? Because I was looking at it, I was like, I know the guy, but I don't know his name.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good actor. But
He is.
I'm not going to lie and tell you I knew his name before this.
I didn't either. I had to Google it. But yeah, he's in it. He plays the father. And Elizabeth Banks plays the mother. And then we have the boy, Brandon, who's played by Joshua Dunn. And it's really funny because when I first saw the kid's name, I actually was thinking, I was like, Gun? I was like, wow, he's a gun too. Like, the film is full of guns. But no, it's not. It's Dunn. So, the little boy, Jackson Dunn, is not a gun. But he is the star of Brightburn.
This movie's got so many guns associated with it. It's sponsored by the NRA. In a lot of ways, Brightburn really is an homage to the Superman mythos. I don't think I'm giving anything away by saying that it's the story of a child that crashes in a cornfield in Kansas and is taken in by a family. Which, if you're familiar with Superman, that's pretty much Superman's story, but turned out a lot different for this kid.
A lot different. And we will not get into spoilers because, like I said, I say this often in reviews, but it is good to watch a film without as many clues on what happens. But I will say one thing. I am fairly disappointed because there's a lot of parts in the film that are in the trailer I think would have been awesome had they not been previously shown. Because it would have been awesome to see the scenes just play and surprise than seeing them in the trailer and watch the film and know what's coming. The parts of showing the kid doing the things. Because in the trailer it shows him doing things, and I would have enjoyed it more had I seen it happen, the situation of itself, without spoiling it. But yeah,
and that's why I don't like trailers. See, I watched. See, I wasn't. I watched one trailer. I told you this before. I'm a one trailer kind of guy. I watch one trailer for a movie, and then I don't want to watch too many more because then I don't want to learn too much about the movie, especially if I really want to see it.
I would have enjoyed it more had, they not shown it. But yes, we're not going to spoil anything. But yes, about a boy who crashes to Earth, and he's adopted by a family, a mother and a father, and chaos ensues.
Well, that's our review. We said there's a lot of homage to the Superman mythos, but there are also a lot of surprises in this movie. There's a lot of different turns. There was a lot of things in this movie that happened that were unexpected to me, that kind of threw me for a loop, and I mean that in a good way. Like I found it to be pretty exciting, like the stuff that I didn't know about it. It's not just, don't go into this thinking this is like a Superman ripoff, because it's really not. It's really a fun kind of movie, a little twist on it. That's what I see it as more. It's more of a twist on the Superman story, not a direct ripoff.
And we're just going to say, again, guys, we're going to be very vague with our points of pros and cons for the story, because we don't want to spoil it for anybody who has not seen it yet. But like Jesse said, exactly, this has a lot of homages to certain hero stories, but that's the most we're going to say right now about the story itself.
I will say that as a fan of both comic books and horror movies, that I really enjoyed the way they put the two together. It's really original. It makes for a really original story. And even if you think you know what you're going into, I think you'll still be surprised. I think there are a lot of surprises and kind of plot twists and things that you didn't see coming. So those would be my pros to the movie. I guess my cons, and I always do this, but my cons are kind of also the pros. There's a lot of mystery in the movie. Things that aren't really revealed, that you kind of get hints and bits and pieces at. But I think they do that for a reason. And I don't want to give anything away. I'm not giving anything away, but there are a lot of mysteries, and it's not, a lot of things for you to try to kind of figure out on your own and say like, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here, But I think in due time, everything will be revealed.
It's really funny because while you're talking about this, I know on camera it looks like I'm kind of like rolling my eyes and stuff, but honestly it's because I don't want to spoil anything, and I'm thinking about what he's saying. I'm thinking of parts of the film, and I'm like, oh yeah. So I'm not rolling my eyes. I'm concentrating, thinking about ways I can discuss a part of the film without spoiling the part of the film.
All right.
That being said, everybody, I have a few points that I like to discuss, and I will discuss it very vaguely as possible. When you start watching the film, it is very superhero-esque, I guess, with just, the intro and stuff, because you start in the story and they kind of backtrack. That being said, I'm not going to get into the story and spoil it, but like my pros being, I really enjoyed how they go somewhere with the story. They kind of went in it, showed you things, and they kind of elaborated on the idea itself. And it's not like those films where it's like, oh, he's bad, you see the bad. You see the character becoming something. And that being said, I enjoyed it. At the same point, that leads into my cons. I would have loved to see the transformation of the boy to something I'm not going to get into per se, but I don't feel like they really grabbed the character really as a young boy. I don't really, it wasn't hard for me, how do I say this without sounding awful? It wasn't hard for me to hate this kid. Sorry, but it's a good film, but it wasn't hard for me to hate the kid. And I think it would have been more of an interesting story had you, seen the kid and felt and saw the transformation of the kid. Kind of like, certain films, somebody's evil, but you see the transformation of something and an idea of a loss of innocence, basically. And I don't feel that they had much innocence to grab from. You didn't see it. Like, you saw parts, but you didn't really get to grasp the child as a child.
I think they hinted at his innocence a lot, with especially in the beginning. But I know what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. And even though I don't normally like child actors, I think he did a pretty good job of because it's a really complicated character when you think about it. I mean,
yes.
There's just so many different levels of what's going on with this kid that I think he did a really good job. And you do kind of feel for him and relate to him early on, but
yes.
it does turn over pretty quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like it does take a turn pretty quick, and then it just gets.
Yes.
And then once it takes that turn, it's just full steam ahead.
Understandably, you can't really get the character because we don't have powers, so we can't really put ourselves in the character and understand what the character is going for. But I felt like a lot of things were just kind of why misunderstanding a situation and just anyways, I can't spoil the film and I'm not going to, so that's the best way I'm going to put it, is there's a lot of things that I just didn't get about the character. Good story, yet I feel like it could have went down and deeper within the character, but I could be the only one. I don't know.
Yes, you are.
That being said about the story, we're going to go ahead and dive into the acting. Like we said a little bit ago, Jesse, the boy, Brandon, good. He was a good actor. He really was. He was very believable in what he was playing. Wasn't known for any other films. I mean, I at least didn't know him from anything else, and I think that was beneficial to the story.
I'm just glad they didn't get a kid from Stranger Things. Don't get me wrong, I love Stranger Things, and I think those kids are awesome, but I don't need to see them in every movie that comes out. Give other kid actors a chance. I can't believe I just said that. I hate kid actors.
The mother was played by Elizabeth Banks, and she was awesome. I really liked her and her character as Brandon's mother. And I don't really think there were many bad actors in the film. The cast was very small. It was a very small cast. And it was like family and friends of students of Brandon. But no, usually we name the best and the worst, but honestly, I don't think there was any worst actors in this film, because even the boy, he might have not been exactly what I wanted. He was great for the role itself, because he did make things believable and work out in itself without spoiling. That's what we're going to say.
And David Denman, who honestly I really just know as Pam's fiance on The Office. I know I've seen him in some other things, but he did a really great job. He was very convincing as the father. There were a lot of emotional levels going on, obviously, with both of the parents, and Elizabeth Banks did a really good job as the kind of overprotective mother, and then he did a really good job as the father, who's a little more strict, but trying to come to terms with what's going on and trying to put it all in perspective. And so I have to say that I was surprised by his acting. It was pretty good. He did a great job. Give David Ginman more work, Hollywood. He's not just Pam's fiance. Why should Jim be in all the horror movies?
There is, of course, our next point, the gore. That is actually a really interesting part of the review, because I am not really going to discuss gore because, like I said, you guys just need to watch the film. We're not going to discuss certain parts, but watch the film and just be surprised.
Right.
The only thing I really say is I was actually really kind of there was parts I was like, ooh, really? And then I was like, oh, it's Gunn. Like, it's James Gunn. Like, he started in Trauma. Like, that being said, I'm not going to say what, but there are a few parts that I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's surprising, almost. There were a couple of scenes where I was like, I almost couldn't, I don't want to run it for you, but there's there's...
I'm not going to spoil the speaking code, but the woods.
Yeah.
The woods scene. Like,
there's some stuff.
I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. That's why if you like horror movies, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by this. Because I think a lot of people that like horror movies might be kind of on the fence with this one because they think it's, the superhero thing. But I also think there's a nice cross section of people that really enjoy superhero movies and horror movies. So if you like, this is definitely, it's a horror movie. I mean, there's some, it's dark.
But what I really liked about it is, honestly, like I say this a lot in my reviews, gore is a very hit and miss thing for me because, like I said, I love Traumaville. I love gory film. I love films that, are kind of like splatter. That being said, there's a lot of films that I feel are just splatter to be splatter, and it's very tastefully done. So when the blood splats, it's like blood, and you're like, oh, shit. Now we discuss the sound and the visuals. Now, this is going to be interesting to discuss without ruining the ending, because most of my sound critiques go to the ending, and my visuals go to the ending. So basically, I'm not going to say what happens at the ending, but I was really, really impressed with what went on and how they did it and how they showed it, and you saw it and you're just like, oh, wow, okay, and then, things happened, and then, what have you. But yeah, it was interesting. Well, the one thing I say, like the sound, like, a lot, like the boy and the mother, spoiler alert, the boy and the mother whistle. And that was really kind of something that, is nice in the beginning, kind of turns and becomes different. And that's like just how it shows how a story can go ahead and make something, just a story can go and make something as simple as a whistle turn into something really mischievous and unsettling. So, not totally spoiler free. I spoiled that there's visuals.
And I don't think this is a spoiler, but you're talking about like the ending, and I'm talking about like the very ending. There's not a post-credit scene in this movie per se.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, the ending.
Yeah.
Ending.
Okay. So there's not a post-credit scene, but as the movie's ending, just pay a lot of attention to the ending, especially if you're a James Gunn fan, because you're either going to be really excited or pissed off. I don't know.
Here it is, our verdict. We are going to let you know our pros. If I can get my hand in the thing. Our pros and cons of the film.
So my pros are the entire movie. You're probably not surprised to learn that I loved the movie. I liked everything about it. It was shot really well. I liked the story. I liked the acting. I liked the gore. Rarely am I pleasantly surprised by a movie, and I was pleasantly surprised by this film. I give it 2 thumbs up. My only complaint would be, and it's not really a complaint, but there is a lot of mystery in the movie. And I can't really say anything besides that. You'll know once you see the movie why I'm not really bothered by the mystery. Does that make sense? Is that fair enough? But anyway, I love the movie. I have no idea what you thought about it, but I liked it. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was a good blend of the superhero horror genre. Still excited to see New Mutants and what they do, if they have anything to add to this new genre, and if it does actually become a thing. One of my favorite superhero movies is actually Super, and I don't know if a lot of people have seen that, but it is a early James Gunn movie, and I think if you like Super, well, first of all, if you haven't seen Super, you need to watch it.
Yep.
And I think that anybody that enjoyed Super will enjoy this movie. They have a lot in common, but they are two completely different movies. But you can tell that they're definitely influenced, and James Gunn definitely had his hand in both of them.
Well, that is very interesting. Of course, I knew you were going to love the movie. I don't know how I feel about the movie, honestly. I think I suffered from I had very high hopes for the film, and thinking also that I'm just kind of the person, because like I said, Mr. Koresh over here loves superheroes and loves comic books, and he's a big fan of that story and the way the story kind of morphed. And I guess me being a person who doesn't really, I guess impatient, I guess the best way to put it is like, I guess me just not being as patient, felt there was a lot lacking within it. Like, I feel that they could have played more into the boy and just kind of showing, the boy versus the thing that he was born as. Best way I could put it is you couldn't really relate the two. It kind of was just Brandon, but he was what he was turning into versus the boy that changed. So you couldn't really, see him as a child anytime in the movie, I believe, but that's just my opinion. So that kind of brings to my pros and my cons. My pros is I love how the story kind of had the horror aspect and just showed, the town and the horror of Brandon and what he was becoming. But I feel like they didn't really explain why the boy became what he became. Really, he just basically was, brought to Earth and came to Earth, and, he was raised here, and then, he was called a loser too many times. He wasn't too happy about that.
It's interesting because I kind of disagree with Amanda on that. I think they kind of did show his arc of him going from being like a kind of good kid to what he did eventually become. Because it was a limited time they had to work with, so they couldn't really show a whole lot of that. But I think they showed enough bits and pieces of his life and his interactions, especially his interactions with his mother and how close they were. I feel like they showed enough of that. Because, like I said, there is a lot of mystery about why he's doing what he's doing and, whatnot. But I think that I can't say anymore.
Okay, I know the best way to explain it. Not so much him as a child itself. I didn't feel like it showed him with the love. I don't think, I'm not going to get into it, but it didn't show his feelings very much. I don't see, it didn't show him as an innocent child, getting, I want my mommy and stuff like that. They didn't really show that like a child,
But they could have not shown that because maybe he didn't have those types of feelings because he's not your typical child. You have to remember.
Okay, well, touche. Okay, well then whatever. I could be wrong, but yeah, my verdict is I thought the film was alright. I didn't think it was bad, but I guess, I don't know, we'll see. I would dive into the ending to get exactly to tell you exactly how I feel the way I feel. But you guys watch the film and maybe you guys come up with a different translation. Maybe you guys might think differently. I don't know, but I feel the way I feel. And the ending, I think, how do I say this? The film was alright, but the ending kind of was, how do I say this? The ending was the film that I thought I was going to see. I don't know how else to say it, but the ending kind of was, you know, what I was like, oh, okay, yeah, right on. And then, done, credits. I'm like, okay, that was a great ending.
Well, as long as you like the ending, that's all.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's what I thought about the film. So Jesse loved it. I thought it was good.
Liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. You loved it. I liked it.
We really don't agree on any movies anymore.
We really don't.
Have we ever agreed on one movie? Neither one of us liked Glass.
Yeah.
But after that, it's been all downhill.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah, we didn't agree on Us. We don't agree on a lot of stuff.
We didn't agree on Us. We didn't agree on Pet Cemetery. And we don't agree on Brightburn, but that's all right.
Well, we don't disagree, though.
Yeah, no, we both thought it was.
You just disagree with me.
I just... That's a whole nother video.
Alright, guys. Well, that concludes our review of Brightburn. Thanks, guys, so much for watching again. And, of course, thank you again, Mr. JESS KORESH, for being here again for another review and seeing another movie with me that we don't agree on, but we don't disagree on. So it's there, like we just said. So anyways, guys, just remember, be nice to each other, okay? Life's too short to be ugly and to be an angry superhero. Life's too short. And do not stand in front of movie theaters and ask for free movies, because chances are you're either A, get hit, or B, be embarrassed to not see a movie. So.
Or C, you might find some sucker that buys you a ticket to go to the movie.
Well, there you go.
Some lonely person that just wants some company. What's so wrong with that, Amanda?
Yeah, that
I wasn't lonely. I'm not that lonely yet to start inviting random dudes to watch movies with me. I haven't reached that point just yet.
Thanks again for watching. And hey, remember to like and subscribe. And comment below. Did you guys like Brightburn? Did you guys not agree with what we thought? Hey, to each their own. And until next time, guys, happy Memorial Day. And we will see you guys later. Bye.
Don't drink too much.
Bye.
Bye.
So, that's what I have to say about the one thing I can spoil. But yes, the ending visuals are amazing, so that's what I say. So, spoiler, there's visuals at the ending. Spoiler, there's a bunch of visuals at the ending. So, sorry guys.